Check it out. Drake wants me to throw him a stick. Drake wants me to throw him a stick. He asked for it actually. He stopped by the stick and he was looking at me, and he was like, he was like wagging his tail. But Drake, you gotta give it to me if you want me to throw it. Come on, man. You can't. Okay, cool. Now, just gonna hold on. Let me correct the camera angle. And there you go, bro. Oh, now he's not interested in it anymore. There's a scent, and now he is again. He loves to tear apart stuff. You know, if it's something that he can tear apart, or not stuff, but like wood. You know, and the thing he loves the most is like peeling it. If he can peel the wood, then it's like his favorite thing. He's gonna like peel it strip by strip. Check him out. Yeah, this is the next best thing, you know. check it out. It's cute. And the funny thing is that he really asked for it. He like stopped. I was like, what is going on? And then I saw there's a stick, and I knew what's going on. I knew what's going on. Wait, buddy. Okay, hold on. Fake, buddy. Hold on, man. Hold on, bro. Come on. Bachki. He doesn't want to give it to me. Come on, man. Hold on. Okay. Oh, come on, man. I got it. Okay. There you go. Ah, so cute. He wasn't this playful when he came from the shelter. When I adopted him, he didn't absolutely had no idea what to do with a stick, you know, or anything really at that matter. And I was trying to get him to play with it, you know, like I was throwing something and he's like confused. What are you doing, man? And now he absolutely loves sticks, right? Now he absolutely loves sticks. He doesn't want to give them to me. He doesn't want to give them to me. But Drake, how am I supposed to throw it if you don't give it to me? So cute. Sometimes he carries it all the way through the entire walk, you know. He's got a favorite stick. He's gonna carry it all the way. Sometimes, a couple of times he carried it all the way to the garden, and we still have one stick there he brought from the walk. Yeah, but it's really interesting. He didn't know how to play really when he came from the shelter. And for about, I would say first year, for about a year, he didn't know how to play at all. And then once he eased into lots of things, and he became more comfortable and, you know, sort of relaxed, I would say. Yeah, I guess he started doing that, you know, like he started to play chase. He started to started to sort of munch on sticks and want to have them thrown, and he became way more sort of cuddly, I would say, you know. I remember one time, like even in the very beginning, if you came to him during the evening when he was in his bed curled up, and if you wanted to pet him, he would even like growl a little bit, you know, like not like he was never that way. He was never like sort of menacing in any way. But there was a moment when he was like so unused to like being approached during the night, and I imagine when he was sleeping on the street, he was like hyper vigilant sort of, you know, because like imagine you're sleeping on a street, you got to watch out for yourself, you got no one to watch for you, so you got to watch yourself all the time. And I believe he was in that kind of mode in the very beginning, you know, when he was watching his back all the time. So when you approached him in the very first few weeks of that time, when he was like sort of getting used to having a home, he would you know, growl like a little bit. Just like a little bit, you know, let's like leave me alone kind of thing, you know, not aggressively or anything, but just like leave me alone. And now he's like super cuddly, you know, when you approach him in bed, he's gonna like stretch all the way, and he's gonna want you to pet his belly, and you know, he's like, and he approaches you on his own, you know, like, and he's gonna press his head against your leg or something, and he's like, he wants you to pet him. And that was that was not a thing when he arrived from the shelter. He was very friendly and he was very sweet from the beginning, but there was always this. It's interesting. This tree got wow. And it was, as far as I can see, the tree was pretty healthy, but it just wow. I guess the wind, right? Yeah, it was a pretty strong wind in the past few days, so it just got toppled over. Wow. Well, I hope there was no cavity. He was very sweet from the beginning. From day one, he was extremely sweet and friendly, and we bonded immediately. You know, it didn't really take any time. Like, we felt as if we knew each other always, really. I remember from the shelter when there was before he arrived and before I adopted him, they gave me some sort of a manual thing, you know, where they explain things and how you should like approach sort of a street dog, and how much time you should give them, and all that. And nothing held true for Drake, really, at all. It's not that I would try to make things differently. I was definitely giving him space and time, and you know, I had high respect, you know. But he was completely relaxed in a way that when I brought him home in that large box he came in, I'm not sure if I ever mentioned, but he's actually from Thailand, from a street shelter from Phuket. So he came by a plane, actually. And when he came and I brought him home and I opened the box, he approached me immediately, you know, like absolutely no fear, nothing. He approached me. I could pet him, and he was completely relaxed around me, like completely. Which, given the fact he doesn't like men, is very interesting to me. Because you would think, oh, like that's going to be problematic, right? Because he really doesn't like guys. I am not aware of a single man that he would not be cautious around, and he would like immediately, you know. Yeah, so that was something, you know. I was like expecting it to take time before he approaches me and all that. And as soon as I opened that door in the box, he came out of that box, came straight to me. He was like sniffed me, you know, and there was not even because he's usually like very careful, you know, like careful steps. He's like extending neck, like sniffing from the distance. With me, I opened it and he came straight to me, like no sniffing, no like trying if I'm like okay or not. He came straight to me, and I was like petting him, and it was like as if I met an old friend, you know. And then there was this like instruction that you shouldn't take him out for a walk because, you know, they're like stressed out after the journey, and they need to sort of they need to sort of calm down and, you know, get time for themselves and just sort of get used to the surroundings and all that, and a walk can be overwhelming. But he was like totally like when I showed him a leash, he was like completely like he wanted to go out. You could see it. He was excited, you know, and he was like full of energy and he was like curious. And I was like, why wouldn't I take him for a walk? So I took him for a walk at that very moment, right after I opened the box, because I mean he was in that box for so long, you know, and all that traveling and all that. I was like, I would imagine he would love to sort of unwind and sort of get a fresh air and walk out a little bit, right? I mean, I would imagine I would want that. And so we went for a walk straight away, and he enjoyed it, you know, and it was really something, you know. And then we came back and he went straight. I bought him a bed, and as far as I'm concerned, he never slept in a dog bed before, you know. In the shelter in Thailand, they had some sort of like, I guess they were just sleeping there under some, like under a roof, but not on beds, you know, like under some concrete, on some concrete or very rudimentary sort of spots, you know, which were facilitated for loads of dogs. So there wasn't a bed, you know, like a comfy bed for them to sleep in, obviously. Because that would be unsustainable, you know, because they would have to get them for all the dogs, and they would be completely like dirty, and there might be problems with like, you know, with lice and all that, you know. So I imagine there were no beds. But he immediately knew that it is his bed, and he went straight after the walk. He went straight home, went in, laid in the bed, which made me very happy because I wasn't sure if he's gonna like it or not. He laid in the bed and he slept like a rock. You know, he was just, at a certain moment he wasn't moving. I was afraid that he died actually, you know, because he was like so still and sleeping so deeply that he wasn't moving at all, not making a sound or anything. I was like, Jesus, are you okay, Drake? I was like afraid if he's alive, you know. And he was just sleeping very deeply and soundly, and he was sleeping a lot after that journey. For a couple of days he slept a lot, and that was it, you know. It was such an interesting experience in a way that there was no transition period for sort of us getting to know each other. It was really as if, okay, we meet again, sort of, you know, kind of thing. Given the fact that I've never seen him ever before the adoption, everything was done from a distance. I only saw his pictures, and I knew there was some sort of a behavior assessment, and so, but I knew nothing about him, you know, apart from how he looks and what is his like general sort of behavior. But we never met each other, you know. But it was as if we did. But yeah, it took at least about a year and a half until he fully relaxed into everything, let's say, you know. Like as I was saying, you know, chasing the stick, playing with anything. I plays with loads of things, you know, that you could give him. He's gonna play with it. He's gonna want you to chase him, and he's like cuddly, you know, and playful and sort of quirky, you know. He had none of these sort of characteristics before, because I think he was constantly sort of on guard, you know, and sort of constantly. There's a new tree falling down here. Constantly on guard and constantly sort of in a fight or flight mode, you know, in a way. But he was very, very sweet from the beginning. He was kind of like, in the beginning he was more melancholic and sort of more reserved, but very gentle, very sweet dog. And but he was not very sort of how to put it, not very like up close and personal, if you know what I mean. He would not like to be very physical with you, you know. He would have his reserve, he would have his personal space, and he would like kind of not be that into it. And now he's like, sometimes I work at home and he comes and he pushes his head under my arm, you know, so like I can, like, I will pet him, you know. And I pet him sometimes for like a minute, and then I go back to work and he still wants more, you know. So he's like still pokes me with his head, like, you know, don't stop, man, like, you know, keep on going. So it's incredible how he changed in those 3 years now. It's gonna be, no, it was actually 3 years. Wow, it was 3 years. A few days ago he came, yeah, I think he came 30th of April. Actually, he arrived the 30th of April. So it's 2 days or 3 days. It's exactly 3 years since I adopted him and since he arrived into Czech Republic. 3 years. Wow. That's cool, buddy. It's cool. And he also had a birthday. I mean, estimated birthday, because nobody knows. He was born on the street. He was born on the street of Phuket. He was born in in Phuket, in Thailand, on the streets, and he lived there for about a year and a bit. And then there's a deer, roe deers. So he lived on the streets for about a year and a bit, and then he got injured. He got into a scuffle, I imagine, and he got injured by other dogs, and he lost his leg. That's how he got into the shelter, and there he was 2 years until I adopted him, and now he's with me for 3 years. So yeah, but he never actually, that's the incredible part, something I always admired, that he never got to socialize, and he never got used to anything regarding like having a home, you know. He lived on the street, and then he was in a shelter with loads of other dogs. So he never had an owner, he never had a family, he was never used to live in a home, you know, on a garden, you know. He never used to go out on like the usual walks, like the usual things that other dogs have. He didn't have for the first 3 years of his life, you know. And he immediately adapted to it so well, and he never, like, I swear he never destroyed anything on the garden. He never destroyed anything in the house. He never peed or pooped inside the house ever, you know. I didn't have to teach him absolutely anything. Actually, he did pee once, but that was kind of our fault, because we gave him you know, this like dried out pork, sort of dried out ear from a pig in the evening, and he was eating it, and then he was extremely thirsty, and he drank an entire bowl of water, and then we overslept in the morning, which is quite unusual, you know. So it was like a coincidence, or like a sort of I'm just checking where Drake is. I'm gonna just walk uphill a little bit to finish what I was saying. So it was a coincidence of like many different things, and he couldn't hold it in the morning, and he was waiting for us, I imagine, and then in the very last moment he just let it out. But that was like sort of an emergency, you know, because I think he must have been bursting, really. So he let it out, but that was the only sort of moment when he peed inside. But he never pooped, never peed inside, never destroyed a single thing, never even ate a thing. I remember I left some food on a very low table. It's like a table on probably at the height of my knees, so he could totally approach it, and he could totally eat it if he want to. And I left it there with him because he's got his bed in the living room. I left it there for a whole night, and he hasn't touched it the whole time. You know, he hasn't touched it. And it was tasty stuff. It was like something, I think there was a ham or something. I don't know. There's definitely something he would enjoy, but he did not touch it. You know, that's the level of like, I don't know how to call it, but it's incredible how he's, I don't want to call it well behaved because that sounds weird, but like, you know what I mean. Without a single training. I haven't trained him. I train him only for these, like, so he comes to me when I whistle. You know, I train him for, you know, to tell him that's not, that, you know, you shouldn't eat that. Like he drops it, you know, these kind of little things, or wait for me. I train him for these things, but I haven't trained him for absolutely good boy, anything else, you know. And he never dug out anything on the garden, as I said. He never destroyed anything. And yeah, and he's sleeping in his bed, you know, and he, like, it's so incredible. And when we are somewhere out in a restaurant, he lays by the table, like, like, his behavior is absolutely amazing, you know, given he never had to socialize with anyone, with people. He never had a family. He, you know, and on top of it, like, there are telltale signs he was actually abused, that he was beaten, and apart from having that injury, he was definitely abused and mistreated by people. You know, he was on the street. I don't think people in Thailand have a very good relationship with street dogs, so I imagine he was, you know, beaten up, probably with a stick, because he's always very afraid of something long that you hold in your hand. So on top of it, he was abused. So he went through stuff, you know, and but he's the sweetest, most well-behaved dog I've ever known, and all that without me even trying, you know. And I find that amazing. And also, I forgot that actually he doesn't even poop on the garden, you know. Sometimes he does, rarely, but if he does, he actually goes to a very, very corner where we have a sort of a water treatment plant, which is absolutely the best spot, because that's where I sometimes clean the filters from the water treatment plant. So, you know, it's not a particularly clean sort of spot where we go to, you know. It's like a sort of a maintenance corner of the garden when nobody really goes to. And he poops there rarely, and he poops at the very edge of the garden. So no one, like, so you don't step on the poop, actually, you know. So he like poops at the very edge. And most of the time he actually waits for us to go outside, and he poops outside, you know, which is incredible, because he was on the street. He could poop anywhere. He had no sort of habits, you know, that he was used to. He was not used to going out, someone walking him, or someone taking him out so he can poop. He was not used to that. He was pooping everywhere, probably. And still here he understands that garden is for like, you know, a leisure activity, for like, you know, to enjoy and relax. So he doesn't poop there, so he considered this as his home, and he only poops outside. And he really always waits for us to go out for a walk, and he poops outside, which is incredible to me. And outside, when he poops, he rarely poops, and I'm talking a lot about pooping, right? But it just really amazes me how he is in that regard. When he poops, he almost never poops on us, because I see loads of dogs. I see a lot of dog poop to be in the middle of a road, on a pavement, on a path in the middle of it. Drake, it's like, very rarely does that. Very rarely, you know. Mostly what he does is he goes somewhere to the very edge. So for instance, this is a perfect spot. This is somewhere he would go. He would go like to there, and then he would poop right there, where nobody goes to, when nobody walks, you know. And when it's like kind of like sort of a discreet spot, you know, and that's where he goes to, which also always amazed me, you know, that he, even outside, he's very tidy, you know, he doesn't poop everywhere, which he could, you know, nobody's saying no, but he doesn't do that. He's tidy. He's going to very neat, hidden, sort of discreet spots where he poops, you know. And same thing he does in the garden if he goes there, which he almost rarely, you know, I would say like a couple times a month. Sometimes he goes, but if he really needs to, we are not going for second walks. We usually went twice a day. Nowadays, I'll only go with him once because I don't know, actually. I find it convenient, and also he has the arthritis, so I'm thinking like maybe once in a day is enough, so he doesn't strain himself too much. But yeah, like we go only once. Before, he was used to getting out twice, and he was pooping twice a day, in the morning and then in the evening. So sometimes when he really needs to go, he goes on the garden, but he does it in the very corner of the maintenance spot in the garden, which is amazing to me, you know. So enough about pooping. That's just why I wanted to appreciate Drake, and this whole video is, I guess, dedicated to Drake, which kind of makes sense because his birthday was like supposed birthday was 2 days ago. Hold on, 3 days ago, actually. Yeah, 3 days ago. So I don't know where he is now. I think he's over there. But let's wish him happy birthday together. And let's wrap this video up. Good boy. Happy birthday, Drake. You're gonna get 2 treats. 1 and 2. Happy birthday, buddy. You're the sweetest boy I've ever known, and you're my best friend. You're my best friend. The bestest of friends. You're my bestest of friends. He really is. All right, so that was that. That was a special video about Drake. Unplanned. Actually, he prompted it with the stick. And he deserves it. He deserves it. He had birthday 3 days ago, so this is a video about him. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up and I'm gonna sign off.